Hello, welcome to Security Policy's weekly meeting. Today is January 9th, and I forgot how the intro works for this meeting, but everyone's very excited to be here. I can tell. Uh, Agenda items. Let's go there. No follow-ups, no demos, though I saw Ann Martin turned on several feature flags this past week. Congratulations. And no issues playing breakdowns, other discussions. Alan says, do we need to discuss these? It looks like both of them are in refinement still. So I assume they'll miss the dates. They'll be deliverables next
I
milestone.
I just started working on the second one today. Just came back from holiday break yesterday, and yeah, I'm not sure how complex it is. If it's rather easy, there's a chance we can complete it. If it turns out to be complex, then not. I can update this today, later today, or tomorrow, and then we'll see if it's. I can leave a comment there and say if I think it's going to miss or if we are going to make it.
Got it. When's the release to this month? Is it next week, Thursday?
I think it's actually Monday, if I remember correctly. Or like
Yeah,
Monday would be the last day to get things merged, or Tuesday, I don't remember. But yeah, and then Friday is Family and Friends Day, so there's not much time left.
Hmm. Where's on my calendar? Because it's the third Thursday of every month from
yeah,
now on, correct?
exactly. So I believe next Thursday we're gonna have a release, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's what I see as well. Okay. Yeah, that sounds totally reasonable.
yeah.
Thank you.
The good thing about those is that they are not needed for the experiment. Actually, as you said, we just released the experiment. So I just wanted to ensure that we're aware of them, and that's it. So that's totally fine. If we're gonna miss the due date for them, we can totally work on them next week, next milestone.
Cool. Sounds good. And then, Alan, do you want to verbalize your next point?
Yeah. So the one thing that over last week we've been working with Grant about the updates for our priorities list. As Grant was doing some changes there. I already asked you in the MR about any questions or concerns, but I thought maybe it's a good point actually to raise it again here. If there's something that you'd like to discuss, it looks pretty straightforward. But yeah, I wanted just to ensure that we're all aware of that.
Cool. And I have one concern about the compliance pipeline to security policy migration. The label says it's in workflow solution validation, which I'm pretty sure means is that design and product is still working on what the solution should be. And so I would say I'm concerned that we don't know when that's going to come out of that, or
Yeah.
maybe it's a mislabel.
I
We'll see.
believe, yeah, I believe Grant forgot to update the label because we've been discussing for over a few weeks about the designs, and we've been working with compliance as well on that, and I believe it's all settled. So I'll just move it to the proper stage.
Cool. Does anybody else have any concerns about any of the other epics? Excellent. Cool. that is the end of the agenda. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns,
There's one thing
criticisms?
that we should talk through probably is the discussion from last week that you initiated about Epic's definition of done.
Yeah. Okay. If everybody goes to their agenda and scrolls down to the January 2nd portion to other discussions, I guess I could copy and paste this up.
Yeah.
I'll do that later. No, I'll do it now. Um,
So yeah, the main problem with the definition of done that we had, we don't have a clear rules about when we think we can close the epic. I believe what you, Alexander, tried to capture is some kind of ideas that what we could do to actually ensure that we can close the epic. So what things are important and what is not, because we would like to release epic and then usually we have a feature flag behind that we are releasing given feature. And the main problem is what if we're going to release a feature with certain improvements, like what we should do. And I believe, Alexander, in that definition of done, you did great work of trying to explain that and how we should work on that. We haven't been thinking anything. We haven't been thinking about that, I believe, in the past, how we should approach it. We were thinking about those, labels and if Epic is closed or not. We were not looking into that as something that's, I don't know, like a single source of truth. So I believe it's a good point, a good starting point to actually do that. So yeah, maybe you can share your thoughts and your motivation why we wanted to do that.
yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. Another thing, yeah, basically when we can close an epic, when we can release an epic, because a lot of times we create improvements that are not required for release, and then we just add it to the same epic, and then can be confusing for someone to come in, look at the epic, and be like, "How close is this?" There's like 5 issues that aren't even assigned yet, but it turns out all those are future improvements that we would want to do, and it's not required for release. Or as we just saw, like sometimes their epics are mislabeled or issues are mislabeled. And so this is all about making it clear to tell how close something is. Like, will Grant be able to come in and look at an epic and say, yes, this is going to make this milestone, or no, without asking anybody? And so these are just some clarification points around that. We've used one thing that came up in the discussion is we've used follow-up epics previously to track future improvements, which I think is a good solution. The one minor point I would like to clarify is I don't think those follow-up epics should be put into the priorities list, because not every follow-up issue is going to be that high priority. But if we put the follow-up epic in the priority list, then it makes it sound like we have to do it at a certain milestone where some of the improvements might not even be worth the time yet or ever. Uh, and so those were my motivations.
Thank you. I like the idea. I believe what we can do now is take those ideas and write them down in the handbook. And if there are no comments right now, we can just create an MR and merge it. What do you think?
Yeah, and we could take the discussion there too.
Yeah.
Sorry, quick question, just to summarize what you have just said. It means that all these minor improvements that we create during working on Epic that do not block the release, they shouldn't be under Epic anymore, correct? Or I misunderstood something?
No, that's correct. I don't think we talked about when the follow-up issue epic gets created, but maybe we create it right away, and then anything that we're like, oh, that's a good idea, let's do it after the release, we just put in that bucket right away, instead of doing it afterwards.
Does it also include bugs? Not only like if some bugs are found after release, will this follow-up epic also include bugs and improvements, correct? Or bugs would have separate grouping point, I don't know, grouping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. I think that I mean, if we're in development, currently what we do if we find a bug and the feature's still in development is we just, well, what I do is I attach the bug MR to an existing issue because I don't want to create another issue. But if you find a bug after the release, I'm sure it could go in the follow-up epic.
Great, thanks for the feedback.
Do we assign bugs to epics right now at all?
Yeah, I believe that's what we are
Oh.
trying to do, unless the epic is closed, and then we just treat it, as a bug for our to handle in our backlog. So yeah, when the epic is still open, then we're just using it as epic for the bug. But yeah, it's also something that we can discuss, I believe.
But for example, if we have a follow-up epic where we put all improvements and bugs, it can be potentially be open indefinitely because some bug may come right away, some can be found in a month or two. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I agree. At the same time, it would be great to have some kind of container where we could put all related issues and bugs and improvements for a certain feature. So once we release a feature, like for example, when we're releasing a feature and we have this feedback issue, when we try to gather some information from customers or users of given feature, it would be great to have something like that reflected on the development as well. So any potential improvements, anything that we'd like to fix in the future that is related, for example, to UI editor or to scan result policies or something that we don't really have a clear feature when it should belong, but we know that it touches certain area of our functionality. This is one thing that would be okay to have Epic indefinitely open unless there's some metrics that are telling us that we have Epics open for too long, but I'm not aware of any. So
or maybe we could define a due date and keep it somehow in track, and so that we ensure it doesn't stay open indefinitely, but maybe revisit it after 3 months, 6 months, and see if the issues there still make sense.
yeah, that's also a good point. So actually, all bugs should have severity and priority assigned. So what we usually do is for things that are reported by customers, we're always doing that. For things that are closely related to customer issues, we also are always doing priority and severity. For UX fixes or anything that is happening behind scenes, we are not putting severity and priority because then we have due date automatically assigned as there is a certain SLO that we need to comply in terms of bugs. So that's why low priority bugs usually do not have severity priority. So yeah, but based on that, we can easily calculate the due date.
Since we've started talking about the bugs thing, I was thinking about it, and it feels weird to me that we would assign bugs to epics if for a project that's already been closed, even its follow-on, because that feels weird that you'd have to go like find the epic that the code for the bug was originally introduced in. So I guess like if you find a bug, yeah, if you find a bug while the project's open, obviously you're gonna be like, oh, we gotta fix this thing. Or if it's in, you could categorize it as an improvement and then put in the follow-up epic. But if you just find a bug after the fact, I don't think assigning it an epic makes is necessary.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Sounds like a good thing to follow up in the asynchronously in the MR. So yeah. Alexander, you would like to create the the MR with those changes for our handbook?
Yeah, I can do that.
All righty. Great.
Cool. Now we are at the end of all our agenda items. Any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms?
Alan touched on the experiment. I would like to thank Marcus for taking care of releasing the feature flags related to that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Marcus, for taking care of testing it, verifying. So yeah, that's great. Thank
No
you,
problem.
Martin, for thanking. Alrighty.
Thank you, Alan, for thanking.
Now we're gonna thank each other for thanking each other. So that is fine. All right, then enjoy, right? Enjoy your weekend, and yeah, I believe I'll meet with you tomorrow, and with some of you today.
Right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.